Joe, in some of your polling you've done with young people, it seems the awareness is there, but is it slightly distorted? Do young people, because they don't have bigger concerns, can afford to care about this issue and drive it? But once they actually have to start paying the bills and worrying about their future career or getting a job, are you confident that the next generation is going to be able to pick up and run with this issue? And I mean the children of today. And perhaps I might extend it to the rest of you, whether you can give me a very quick suggestion, because we are very, very short of time right here, what you would do to actually try and galvanise a little bit of change. You can come up with an idea possibly for the Climate Week in March. I know there's a lot of people here with a lot of very good ideas, but perhaps you could try and sort of throw in your 2 cents.
Well, firstly, I mean, I'm not sure I'd agree that young people don't have other issues to be concerned about. Obviously, there's a lot of things for young people to be concerned about.
I didn't say they had no cares. I just meant it's easier for them to say, I care about this issue now. But
I think with the right way of engaging young people, I think they will keep this with them as they get older. I think the thing is about how you engage them when they're young. As I said, young people are, some young people are sick about hearing about it. They don't want to hear about the problems. They want to hear about the solutions. Yeah. So if we can engage them in their solutions, and as Tony said, if we can help them to get that connection with the environment around them, the natural world, but equally for an organisation like ours, it's about helping them to see that global connection and the impact on other girls and young women. So for the 10-year-old here to understand what it's like for a 10-year-old in Africa, where the climate change is having a bigger impact on them and their access to clean and good water and things like that, that helps to engage them in the issue, makes them passionate about it, because if you can get that passion in them from a young age, they will keep that with them.
Fantastic. You don't want to have a stab about a good idea for Climate Week?
Okay. I want to pick up on something that Lord Gummer said, actually, about on the internet and blogging and so on. I thought it was a really good point, actually, that there's a lot of, you mentioned all the sort of non-climate blogs, there's a lot of climate blogs as well, but it's very polarised. There's stuff sort of about the climate science and the campaigning and stuff. There's also a lot of climate sceptic blogs. They tend to be very separate. I think there needs to be much more engagement. Have a proper dialogue. There's a lot of the stuff which is saying it's all a big conspiracy, the scientists are all government puppets and so on, and they want to take over the world instead of a global government and cover the world in wind farms and we all hate it. A lot of it is just based, there's a lot of misunderstanding there, and there's been a bit of a traditional tendency to not engage with that, and I think that's kind of backfired with all the climate gate stuff and everything. I think engagement with the debate, and in the bit that you know about, engage with that. If you know about the science, engage with that. If you know about renewables, engage with that. So that would be my, as I said, it's not my job to tell anyone what to do, but my personal view would be, if you want to take things forward, talk about it.
Do your bit.
I've got an idea.
Great.
Nothing to do with that. So my idea would be that you make an iPhone app of the best ideas from last year's Climate Week, and then you launch it free with a video that gets circulated and forwarded to people because it's interesting in a viral way, and then thousands more people come in with the means of doing Climate Week by the time you get to March. You've probably done that already.
If not, I'll do it. It doesn't have to pay. Lord Gummer, you don't have to come up with your own idea, but any thoughts about any of the issues raised by the other members of the panel?
Well, I do think the key thing is what my mother would call habit. I mean, you've got to get into the habit of doing the things that are right and sensible, and out of the habit of doing the things naturally that are not right and not sensible. That means that governments have got to make it easier to do the right thing and more difficult to do the wrong thing. Businesses have got to do that as well, but we also have got to do it. And I do think this practical bit, I think the Girl Guides thing, one of the things the Girl Guides, I hope, are doing are really getting their American friends to do something about this. I've just come back depressingly from the United States and listened to the 8 Republican candidates, all of whom are dreadful. And 7 of whom are so stupid that it's very difficult to understand how they even managed to find their way to the studio. And the other one is boring, so it's very difficult.
I was specifically asked not to make this a partisan thing.
I can be partisan about the Americans. And he's a Mormon. But the other thing is that if you really Mormon, I was careful about not making the distinction. And the big issue is surely that everybody's got to have very clear and simple things. I mean, I know it's boring, and John Humphreys once told me I was boring when I said it. But actually, if we all didn't clean our teeth under running water, we would make a huge difference. It's quite difficult to train yourself not to do it, but once you've done it, you never do it again. You always do it that way. If you train yourself to do certain things which make a difference, and I think young people react very well to doing, even if they're small things, and becoming actually engaged in that. We're launching next Monday a website which really ties in with what you've said and what you said, which is called climategain.com. The idea of this, it's all upbeat. It's not miserable. It doesn't frighten anybody. It's all about what you can do, what makes a difference, what other people are doing, how you can join in with things, just simply that. And then it's got one or two pieces, normally written by me, which are outrageous, about how outrageous certain people are. Well, that cheers people up and it keeps the whole thing going. But the idea is we've got to stop being Puritan and start being upbeat. Because people will think it's not possible to do anything as long as you think that you've got to frighten them. So let's stop frightening them, let's make them feel happy about it, and let's make them feel that small things can change big things. Do that, and then we're on our way.
Fantastic. And Paul, I mean, I've been kicking an idea around for a while, but I can't really think how to make proper telly out of it because of Alan Sugar, but something like The Real Apprentice, something where you've got actual, real people doing real proper jobs, trying to do something that promotes low carbon jobs, green jobs. I mean, is it something from your sector you'd like to see done more of that would really galvanise this?
Well, absolutely. I mean, what we can do is actually focus on some of the tremendous work that is being done, which people don't see. Some of the really positive examples of unions, staff working with companies to their mutual benefit in a way which reduces cost, makes the organisation more productive, and makes people feel happy about their work and what they do. And maybe just showcasing some good examples of this, which we can do. I mean, we've had a wide range of different projects in all sorts of areas, from central government to museums and galleries and private sector logistics organisations, but maybe giving that some more positive media push might be a good thing to do.
I think the ball's in my court there a bit, and I think there is a culture in our media to push the negative stories, the doom and gloom, that we're not achieving anything, the Copenhagen climate talks ended in failure, etc., etc. We put a lot of pressure on government for the problems they have in delivering on the climate change agenda, and it is hard to get positive stories on. That's a systemic issue with the media. But I do think there is an opportunity there that we do positive stories. I have done positive stories about businesses, about organisations that are doing things, but they have to be credible, they have to be real, they can't be simply rhetoric that isn't actually driving a substantive change or reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, if it's something as simple as that. So I think as long as it's real and true effort towards this issue, I like to think it is something that we can do more on. And I suppose in sort of a concluding remark, really coming together like this, as with a project like Climate Week does help galvanise that. I just hope Climate Week is a quiet week in the news agenda. We don't have too many big political or business stories kicking off elsewhere, and that myself and my colleagues elsewhere can sort of give issues like this and campaigns like this the prominence they really do deserve. So on that note, please join me in thanking this excellent panel, and good luck to all of you in March.